We're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship, zooming through the sky.
What's up, guys? My name is Daniel. Feel free to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free, it costs you nothing. If you feel like donating, there's a way to do that down in the description. I love to have my back scratched. I like giving free information, but it also feels good to have a little bit returned to me as well. So, I also have a Facebook page if you guys want to check that out, or you have questions, or you just want to join, post your bike, whatever, talk about things. That link is also in the description. I have my PayPal link in there if you want to send a donation to buy me a cup of coffee, whatever. It also helps support the channel. So without further ado, let's get started. Hopefully I get to help you guys out today. Let's get going. Welcome back to day 2 of the Wide Body 250. It's been sitting on the charger. It's got a full charge here. And let's I'll activate choke here. Normally if you let these things sit with fuel in them, sometimes they'll crank up. So this one's been sitting now for over 24 hours. Let's see what it does. Turn that off, give it a little bit of gas. Do this. No starting, huh? Okay. So we'll let that charge up. Let's pull these carbs and see what happens. Well, I didn't have to get very far to figure out why it's not getting fuel. I'd be more than happy to show you by lifting the tank. What's not connected? The vacuum line. So there's nothing opening the system to allow fuel down when it's turning over under compression. So let's pull this tank. And it looks like somebody popped on a vacuum line that was actually too short. We'll pull the tank off, and we'll replace that vacuum line, and then we'll see if it runs. That would be a really good reason as to why it doesn't run. It's not allowing fuel. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm learning things. These were definitely purchased carbs. These are definitely off eBay carbs. And I did notice that the engine has used marking numbers on it. So this has a used engine, so this does not have 40,000 miles anymore. This engine probably has a lot less miles on it. So that's good to know. The carbs were definitely an aftermarket, well, not an aftermarket, but an after purchase. So somebody obviously put carbs on it recently. That's interesting. Yeah, so here's the old line that was too short. Here's the new line that is not too short that I just popped on there. And now we're going to slap the tank back on and see if it runs now that it should get fuel. I'm going to test that real quick by hooking this up to the petcock. And I'm going to I'm going to suck through it because that should kick the actuator on that and fuel should start flowing down. If it does, this bike might run just fine. This might have been the only issue that we were having with it. I don't know if he realized that came disconnected and that's why it's not running. But, I mean, that would be a huge indicator to me of why it's not running. No fuel's getting to it. So, let's check this petcock vacuum diaphragm and see if it works. I'm going to put this on there and I'm going to suck a little bit. And that should open the fuel valve. And it should start pouring fuel out when I suck on this because I'm completing the vacuum compression that it requires to flow fuel. So, let's see what it does. Alright, I'm going to suck on this little line here and we're going to see if fuel comes out. It should come out the front right there if this works properly. Yep. Okay, and as soon as I stop, it should stop flowing, and it did. Perfect. Okay, so we clearly know the problem. Vacuum line was not connected. It was not getting fuel. Well, let's rehook it to the tank now that we have a nice little puddle of it down there and see what it does. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what it does now. I'm going to leave that off for a sec. See if it runs now. Oh! Took a second to get fuel into the other carb, but look at that. And that's with the choke off. There it is.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This bike might be just fine. it is running great. It's running great. There is a lot of fuel getting down there. I need to figure out why, but it is running. That's a huge plus. Clearly, something's still going on with the carbs, but it is running. So I need to figure out why it's overflowing. That's the next step. Why is this overflowing? But it does seem to be running. The idle is set very high. I don't know why that is. It's taking throttle like it should. Both cylinders are firing. It sounds really healthy. These are all good things. However, the carbs are going to have to be pulled because clearly she's leaking fuel still. But that would be 100% the reason why it was not running prior to this. So if I had to take a shot in the dark, what is happening right now is that the floats are sticking a little bit and it's allowing it just to keep filling up with fuel. So I think the carbs themselves are fine. I think it'll run great. I need to figure out why this isn't twisting because that's problematic. This is obviously all locked up and seized from sitting, so I can't adjust the idle. So that's one thing, so we're gonna have to work on this, and the floats are definitely sticking. That is a sure sign that the floats are sticking. It is running, but the floats are definitely sticking. It's taking all the throttle all day. It sounds really healthy. These are all good things. These are all simple things to fix. So, big plus. Big old plus. I knew that the carbs were still gonna keep leaking. I just wanted to see if that is the reason why it wasn't running. Now that I know that, I know I don't have to go too far into the carbs, and we should be good. So let's tear this thing down, pull the carbs, have a look at it. All right, with a little WD-40 sprayed right down there on the throttle control, I was able to free this twist throttle up from sitting, and so now that works, and I've pretty much set the idle correct. There's not much fuel in it, but it's pretty much idling where it should. As you can see, I've got the idle pretty much set perfect now. There's not a lot of gas in it. And it's got a vacuum leak right now. If I cover that with my finger, it should run better, as you can see. If I take my finger off the vacuum leak, it'll start running a little crummy. Acts like it doesn't want to go, but if you cover that up with your finger, it takes all the throttle. But there's the idle. Perfectly set now.